Welcome into the Gramlich and Mac Lane podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and Mac Lane. Mac, it's the biggest week of the year so far. We thought week one was big, and obviously it was because teams won. Certain teams, some teams didn't. But this week, from an ACC perspective, Miami, Florida State is huge. So we had our Florida State-centric episode yesterday with Tommy Castellanos. If you missed it, go listen. Today, Mac, it's all about who?
The U, baby.
The U.
Let's
Exactly.
go. Come on. It is. And listen, we wanted to make these as big as possible. We wanted to make this game as big as possible. And so that's kind of why we broke up these episodes here. But also, Hurricanes don't care about Florida State. They don't want to watch that. They want to hear about their team and their boys. And so that's exactly what we're doing today. We had the privilege to sit down with Carson Beck. So that was a ton of fun. Taylor joined me for that. We actually recorded that last week.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor. Shout out, Taylor. And Carson was great. It was literally right off practice. Like, this dude just threw a touchdown, walked over, did an interview with us, and then went back to – I'm just kidding. It was after practice. But it was a lot of fun, like some really cool insight. We kind of asked him, KG, and you guys will hear this in a second, just like, why is he playing so free? He just looks happy, and he got into that, and it was really cool to hear his story there and how he's kind of gotten with these guys and how they've gotten on the same page so quickly. So really quick, we're going to get a message from our friends at Ingles. Then on the other side, we're going to break this game down from the Hurricane perspective. So let's do it.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Happy right now to be joined by Miami quarterback Carson Beck, straight off the practice field, right here to an interview with EMAC, and I were so grateful for that, Carson. I want to start this off, just overall big picture. Now we're a couple weeks into the season. You're basically a Miami full-time resident at this point. One word that you would pick to describe your experience overall, just being now at the University of Miami, and why that one word?
That is such a good question. I wish you would have asked me that before so I could have thought about it for a second. I don't know. For me personally, I think the one word that I would use is just like gratitude, or like just being grateful. I'm just super grateful for the whole experience and everything that this university has done for me since January. It was such a quick turnaround when I initially got here. And again, I didn't know anyone, right? Like, and obviously to have built the relationships that I've built now and have the season, start the way that it started, obviously for this program and for this team, I'm just super grateful for the opportunity and for the experience.
Love that, man. And that's kind of where I was going to go next, however you answered that question, and just say you look happy. You look free. And I've heard you say that, the relationships that you built so quickly, how, some of these guys are going to be your best friends for the rest of your life. And I see all the handshakes you got with everybody, and you've had them, since you got there, and just the instant, I don't know, bond that it seems like Miami just fits you really well. How did all of that happen? Like when you got there to this point, like, how do you think this has been so freeing and why you're so happy there?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the biggest thing is the fit overall, right? I think this is, the perfect fit for me. And obviously being in Miami is part of that. But the other big part of that is the people. And I could feel that the second that I met Coach Cristobal, that I met Coach Dawson, that I met the first 2-3 guys on the team, right? CJ Daniels was the first guy that I met. Obviously, he was transferring in from LSU, so we were both new, and we kind of just created a bond off rip because we were in the same situation, right? Both had been injured the year before. Both were going through rehab, so we spent a lot of time together early on in the training room and just doing stuff outside of football. I think that's a big thing that you have to do is you have to learn the people around you. You have to go and spend time with them outside of the facility, right? Go get dinner, go hang out, like go do things and really get to know each other so that on the field, like, who is on the field with you, if that makes sense, right? You don't just know the football player, you know the person. And again, I've gotten to really know these guys and really know the people that I'm playing with. And you get to know their stories, you get to know their background, why they play the game. And that makes you want to play even harder for them, right? I think that's a huge thing, and that's real connection. And again, I think that's what we've stressed and what Coach Cristobal has really stressed since I've gotten here. And something that I've stressed myself since I've gotten here is really trying to build relationships and really getting to know people. And ultimately, once you get on the field, it's easier to play for them. It's easier to fight through adversity with guys that you really know and love.
Yeah, it's really obvious. Those relationships are crystal clear on the field. One relationship I want you to expand on is with your offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson. I've been on record saying this. He's one of my favorite coordinators in the league that we cover. I love his personality. And clearly, you guys fit really well together. How did that begin and how has it emerged, the relationship between you two? And if you have any funny stories about Coach Dawson, because I know he's a great storyteller too.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man. He's just such a great, just such a great human being, and the way that he carries himself is perfect for how I am, right? I would say that I'm very calm, cool, and collected, but I get very fiery at times, especially when, if we make a mistake here, we make a mistake there. Like I get very fiery and I'm very passionate about the game. I mean, I have a great love for the game and it kind of just comes out of me at times, but you look over on the sideline and he's like this, like 24/7. And I'll walk over there after maybe a bad drive or a 3 and out, and we just have a conversation. It's the first time ever that the offensive coordinator has been on the sideline with me, which has been very different. So being able to actually communicate and conversate with him eye to eye on the field comparative to being on like a phone talking to your offensive coordinator up in the box, it's very different. And you feel like you can really connect and actually have communication. It's not just like you're listening to a phone and they're telling you what to do on the field, right? Or maybe a mistake you made or something you should have done.
Right.
Like we can sit there and actually talk out things. But beyond that, just him as a person and him as a human being, I mean, I appreciate the way that he carries himself. I appreciate the way that he coaches me and carries himself for me. Again, it's been a great relationship, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season of him, being our offensive coordinator, him continuing to coach me and get me better as well.
It's something that is just very evident, when we were at practice, when we were at the Notre Dame game, and then this past game, being there with you guys as you face, Florida there. And you mentioned his attitude, his mindset, his composure, after a 3 and out or after that pick. I'm looking right at him because I want to see that. I want to see the relationship. And he doesn't flinch. He's just like, okay, well, here we go. Let's figure it out the next time. And I think that
Exactly.
has to be really freeing from a quarterback because listen, you play the hardest position in all of sport. You have everything on your shoulders. And if you look to the sideline and you got a guy cussing and throwing a fit, whatever, that's only going to affect you the rest of the game. So I can only imagine seeing that composure, you can further lock in and say, okay, let's go. Let's make this thing happen. I also have to feel like it helps you out a ton to have that offensive line that you do up front. Those guys are big. They're nasty. A guy like Cook just talking his ear off, the entire game. What have you seen from that group? And how have maybe they delivered everything that we thought they would be this season so far?
Yeah, they've played near perfect. I mean, it's impossible to play perfect. Everyone's going to make mistakes at times, but I mean, they have played near perfect, and in my opinion, are the best in the country at what they do. Um, Gosh, I can't speak high enough about that group and the way that they work too. Like, that's what a lot of people don't see. They see the work on Saturday. They see the execution. They see like just big dudes that are moving people that are physical, but like, how do you think they got there? Right. Like the work that they put in is unlike anything I've ever seen personally. Right. And I've talked about this a couple times, but I'll say it again. Like anytime I was in here, right. And in January, February, March, when I wasn't able to do much, I was doing a lot of rehab work, a lot of like conditioning work, trying to stay in shape. And then obviously a lot of film trying to learn the offense. But every single time that I was in here, they were here and they were working, whether it's technique, whether it's film work, whether it's they're out in the sand pit, they're getting working. Like it was constant every single day. Like they were here every single time that I was here. And honestly, that gave me a lot of confidence going into the season because I knew the type of work that they had put in. And usually when you put in that type of work, you get a lot of proceeds out of that. So again, man, I can't speak high enough about that group. And obviously they've shown that they're a dominant force and they're very hard to deal with for opposing defenses. So
Emax say Inez Cooper was talking throughout the game. He didn't stop talking for like hours after the game. He
He
was
might
on
still be
social
doing it. Go
He's
look on Instagram
literally
right
still
now.
talking. One of the best parts about playing at Miami, and don't get me wrong, Georgia has some incredible alums too that love to come back to the program. But one of the great things about being at Miami is the alumni base and the former players that have come through that program and what hangs on the walls and the names that are in the Hall of Fame, like some of the greats to ever play this game. I know you've only been there for 9 months at this point, nearly 10 months, but Who were
Crazy,
some
I've
of the
already been here for
people
9 months
which is crazy, right? I know it feels like it's probably been so fast.
by like
Who were
this.
some of the faces and some of the names that maybe you've admired in your past that you've been able to connect with because of the U, that you've had some great conversations with?
Yeah, I'll tell you 2 stories. The first one was or both were the Notre Dame game. I'm out there and I was a captain for the game, so I'm about to go walk out and do the coin toss and whatnot. And someone taps me on my shoulder, and I look to the right. And mind you, again, I haven't played football in 8 months. I haven't, right? Like I'm turned up right now. Like we just ran out the tunnel. Like I got every emotion, every thought, every feeling running through me. Like who even knows? Like there's a lot going on, right? I'm trying to like slow my breathing. I'm trying to calm down, and someone taps me on my shoulder, and I look to my right, and it's Andre Johnson, and I'm like, "Are we serious? Like, is this real?" And he's like, "Hey, like Andre Johnson." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I know who you are." It's like it's a pleasure to meet you. And then we go walk out in the coin toss, and I'm really sitting there in my head like, dude, I just met Andre Johnson. Like, how crazy is that? And then after the game, I mean, Michael Irvin's coming up, freaking picks me up off the ground, dabs me up, like he's so hype, and I'm like, I mean, that's literally Michael Irvin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's honestly crazy that there's just so many guys like that are just rolling through. I mean, I could say 10, 15, 20 names of people, but like they just roll through here on a casual Wednesday of practice. And it's honestly insane. It's a really cool thing to be a part of for sure.
That's one of the craziest things. I remember the first time I walked through that indoor and just looking up and seeing the names. And not
Yeah.
that you
All the
forget, but you
banners.
don't realize how many, All Americans, NFL Hall of Famers, and it's an incredible resource, to have and something to lean on. And
100%.
I know you'll cherish that the rest of your life here. Well, let's move on to Florida State a little bit, here. And I know that game's still, in the distance, a week away here. You guys on your bye week right now, but obviously an unbelievable opportunity, unbelievable opportunity for the league, but also for you guys to put another foot forward and just demonstrate, who you are. In the brief time that you've looked at them, what's kind of your, synopsis on the Knowles there?
Oh, obviously, they have a really talented team. They have a very talented defense. They do some things different than, I'm going to say, base defenses, right? They're very multiple in what they do, and they fly around, right? They swarm the ball. They swarm the ball. They play good, solid defense. They're not going to give you shots, to be honest. They're going to pressure you. They're going to challenge you. Really good on third down. You go watch that Alabama game, and I mean, they were physical. They're physical at the point of attack. In those rainy games, it kind of shows, how physical is your team, right? And they showed that they were going to be physical. And again, that's our brand of football as well. So again, I think our offense is really excited for the challenge. I think the biggest thing for us right now on the bye week is not looking too far forward to that, right? And focusing on what we can get better at, and maybe little mishaps or mistakes that we've been making through the first 4 weeks. And again, really focusing in, honing on us. A work week, not a bye week, is what I always like to say. It's something, Coach Smart used to say at Georgia, something Coach Cristobal says here at Miami. And it's the truth, right? This isn't a week off. This is a week to get better, kind of internally look yourself in the mirror, have self-reflection, and see what you can get better at. And then again, we're going to get a head start on Florida State. Don't get me wrong, but I'm really excited for that challenge and looking forward to it.
Gosh, I'm just so happy that this game is relevant for both sides at the same time. Like, it's been a really long time since we can actually say that. Since you've talked and you've touched on it quite a bit in this interview about how amped up you do get playing football, that's just natural. And even before a game, like before Notre Dame, you hadn't played in a really long time. How does Carson Beck center himself? Like, what does that look like for you before actually taking a field? And maybe during the week, I don't know if that's something you've worked on throughout the course of your career.
Yeah, I think for me a big part of it is how many games I played. I think I don't know what I think I've started in 30 games now, which is kind of crazy. And it feels like just yesterday I walked out there for my first start, right? But I feel like the more you play, the more calm and centered you get. But what I always like to do, first snap, I love getting the ball first so I can like get it out of the way, because otherwise you're sitting on the sidelines watching the defense, and I do not like that at all. I'd rather get the ball first. But first snap, I'll walk out there, no matter where we're at. I'll always just look around the entire field. I'll take one like 360, just one kind of look at the stands, take it all in, and just again, like that. I'm gonna go back to the word gratitude. Show gratitude for the position that I'm in, and that's why I do it, right? You work all these hours, all these days for 12 guaranteed opportunities a year. And again, why not be grateful for the opportunity, right? It's super cool. We're gonna get to go play it, Doak Campbell, and it's gonna be packed out. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be night game prime time. Like again, like that's what you live for. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, or at least for me, like as a football player, like that's what you live for, is those moments, those big time games. So again, that's kind of how I center myself and just kind of put my feet on the ground, and then again, just go play football and do what I love.
Yeah, well, you do it at a high level, man. It's
Yeah.
been really fun to watch. Can't wait to see you at that FSU game, and just continue to ball out, man. Always appreciate your time, brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Rollback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips, custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rollback, period.
Thanks again to Carson Beck for joining us, and again for Taylor Tannenbaum for filling in for me when I was on a little bit of a maternity leave, and she was fantastic. So we appreciate that time with Carson Beck and all our people at Miami for setting that up. Mac, I have 2 crazy stats I want to throw at you as we get into this game. But
By
first,
the way,
maybe
we're so back. I haven't heard this yet. We're so back.
we're back.
When I hear
If I'm
KG dropping stat bombs, we're back.
Yes. That's what I love to do. That's what I miss the most. But before we get into that, a crazier stat is that you can use our code GM20 at roback.com. This is Roback. And I know, Mac's wearing Roback. I know the majority of our watchers, viewers, listeners are men, and that's great. They have so much male stuff at Roback. They have been dropping a lot of new stuff for the ladies, and I have been benefiting. So I love these quarter zips. They just dropped these. So also, fellas out there, if you want to get something for your wife, just surprise her, use our code GM20. They also have great Miami Hurricanes gear, so check that out. And then if a Florida State fan happens to be watching this, they have really good Florida State gear. Jameis Winston is a spokesman for Roback. So use our code, guys. They have some really good stuff.
No question about it. And just, I like what they do is they've really hammered the workout stuff, because that's, that's what I wear. Like, as much as I love a golf shirt,
Same. Yeah.
as much as I love
Athleisure.
a golf shirt, I need athleisure, and they have been hammering it. Got some really cool colors. You guys saw me talking with Carson in Miami orange Roback shirt. They've got it all. They've got it all. So that's a big shout out right there, KG. Let's go.
Yeah, and I know probably the Miami people are thinking, I have no use for a quarter zip because I live in Miami, which is fine. Then you can get some of the dry fit stuff like Mac's wearing right now.
Let me actually educate you a little bit. We were down there, the other week, and I was talking with some of the fine police officers that help us and make sure that we're safe. And, he said, oh, it's probably going to get pretty chilly here, in February. I was like, really? What's chilly? He was like, oh, it'll be like 75, 77. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's real chilly. So I think about the 78s, they start needing pullovers or maybe parkas. They might need a full parka.
I generally go to Miami every February to call a basketball game, and I've never been there when it's 75. It's generally in the 80s in February.
Who
But
knows? Nobody knows.
hey, when you get that cold front, you never know what's going to happen. Okay, Mac, let's set up this game. When you look at Florida State and Miami, number 18, Florida State, number 3, Miami, still a 4.5-point favorite. Miami is. Here are a few of my stats I want to throw out there. We talked about this is the biggest Florida State Miami game in a long time, right? The last time this was a top 20 matchup, so both teams ranked in the top 20, was actually 2013. However, that was 2013 FSU. Miami fans, cover your ears, cover your eyes. That team was ridiculous. Mac knows firsthand that team was ridiculous. That was number 3 Florida State beat number 7 Miami 41-14. So that game wasn't close. The last time before that, this was a top 20 matchup, was 2006, when number 11 Florida State beat number 12 Miami 13-10. Mac, do you see this game? We'll start there. Do you see, because we were talking about this in the Florida State episode. Do you see it more being played in the 30s, or maybe could it be a crazy like 17-10 just slugfest?
If it's 17-10, I will have thrown up multiple times on the sideline in dismay. Because here's the deal too. Here's some fun breaking news. I don't know if anyone knows this. Miami fans, you're getting the first crack at this. We at the ACC network are doing an alternate cast of the game. Myself, Taylor Tannenbaum, Eddie Royal, Jimbo Fisher. We're going to be on the field, like, talking the game. Taylor's doing play-by-play. Hope she's ready. We're going to have fun.
Let's go,
it's going to be a really cool time. So if I'm sitting there talking for 4 hours about a defensive struggle, I will be pissed. Let me just say that. But I will also say, if that's the case, I think Miami wins that game,
Absolutely.
which is fascinating if that is able to happen. So I hope not. I hope it's a bit of a track meet. High 20s, mid 30s, high 40s would be great. Something just outrageous, back and forth, a lot of explosive play, some turnovers, some chaos, some ups, some downs. That's what I want. I mean, I want roller coaster emotions for this game. Will we get that? I don't know. I certainly do not want 13-10, 10-17. Like, get that out of the stratosphere.
I agree. And that's kind of similar to what Miami Notre Dame was, right? If you
Correct.
think about kind of that game. I totally agree with you, Mac. If this game is played in the teens or the 20s, Miami's going to win. I really don't. That's what kind of what Miami wants. You look at 26-7 over Florida. Like, could it be that type of situation? Because of their time of possession, they're averaging like 34 minutes in time of possession, which is tops in the country, one of the best. They've been, as we talked about last in the episode yesterday, they've been managing the game so well. I do not see how Florida State wins a game like that. But if this game, if like we've talked about with Florida State and how explosive they are offensively, they just put up 38 in double overtime and could have scored a lot more if they didn't turn the ball over. If this game is played in the 30s, I feel like that really benefits Florida State.
Yeah, I do as well. And it's interesting too, because you look at the 2 games against Power 4 schools, Notre Dame to start the season, 27-24, Florida, last week or 2 weeks ago, 26-7. Like they like to control that clock. Now they did air out South Florida, who beat down Florida the week before. And there was some weather in the Florida game as well. It was raining very hard, specifically in the first half
Good
and
point.
third quarter of the game there. So we'll see. Maybe this Miami team can run a track meet and feel really good about, scoring in bunches. But I just have a feeling in the back of my mind like they want to control the game. They want to slow it down, grind it out, run the football, take the check down if they've got it, take a play action shot, and then a defense that just swarms. Like that's what they want to do. So I'm right there with you. I think those kind of score kind of variations there, I think do favor each team kind of well.
Okay, here's my other stat. And this is my key. I think we talked about for Florida State, the key is you can't make the mistakes. You can't have the turnovers. Miami's going to make you pay for that. And you got to be explosive. You got to be different. You got to be you. For Miami, I think you got to be you. You got to be yourself as well. Florida State, this is my stat here, is 97th in the country in red zone defense. Teams have scored, and I think this stat is counting scoring as touchdown or field goal, have scored on 90% of their trips to the red zone. Now, in those games they played against Kent State and Salvation Army, whatever it's called, those teams didn't really get in the red zone. East Texas A&M, that's the team. Those teams did not get in the red zone, so of course that stat's not going to matter. But
Come on, Salvation Army.
we love the Salvation Army. They do great work. Shout out to them. But Florida State's red zone defense has been a little sus, Mac. I think that's a key here. And Miami, they're second in the ACC in scoring in the red zone. So I think this is a really important factor here. When Miami gets in the red zone, what can Florida State do? Can they bow up? Because to your point, Carson Beck's done a really good job kind of managing that. You look at the zone read, you look at how Miami's run the ball, that big offensive line. Can Florida State's defense do enough when Miami inevitably gets in the red zone? That's my big key.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's been electric when they get down there. Like they're getting in and scoring touchdowns. That big offensive line is going to lean on you. They're going to move you out of the way. They'll put in 3 running backs. Like they're not afraid to do that. I love the old T formation that they put in where they've got 3 running backs behind Carson with their hands on the ground. It's just like, whoa, what are we doing?
Mac, when are we going to see Miami pull in Alabama and get Maui Noah out there in space? Like they did with Caden Proctor.
To see either a pass or a run from
I meant to
Francis
bring that
Maui
up with you because I thought that would have made you so happy to see that.
100%. And honestly, when I see Cristobal, I might go out there and tell him like, hey,
yeah,
now's the time. Let's do that
Let's
today.
do it.
But when they get in the red zone, they get in the goal line, it's pretty much blouses. Like they're scoring. Unless they don't want to, like if they're taking a knee because the game's over, they're scoring. And I love, again, that T formation there because it's very versatile. Like you can do so many different things out of it. You got 2 lead blockers coming out the backside. You got misdirection with crossing guys doing that. You also can throw passes out of it. We've seen them do a great job of play action to the left, roll right, bam, 2 tight ends and a wide receiver, or excuse me, a running back wide open. So it's a tough thing to stop, and it just causes eye violations. Like it gets those linebackers down looking, where am I going to go? And then whoop, forgot about this guy, and here he goes. I'm fascinated to see Miami try to run Carson more based on what they saw, from Virginia. Now, he's not the same player in regards to speed or burst. He can run it. He's very capable. We've seen them really the last 2 games run Carson a little bit more than we had the previous 2. So maybe that's already a plan. But I am fascinated to see, is that like a point of emphasis? Do we see that more? Maybe from some undisciplined things from the FSU linebackers there. So we'll see. That'll be an interesting thing. But also just like regular offense. I mean, I'm excited to see Carson let it rip. And there's a little bit of weather on the forecast. It's Florida, so you never know. Hopefully that
Florida in
isn't the
October.
case. I know. Hopefully that's not the case at game time, because I just want to see dry elements, both these teams doing whatever they want. And executing at a super high level. Carson distributing that ball. He has been so good at just finding the open guy. Like he's patient. He knows where to go. I mean, he's the best of the best right now in college football. And watching him, KG, go here, check down is like beautiful. And it's a rarity, right? Like you don't see a lot of quarterbacks nowadays doing that. It's very NFL like, the way he knows that, the way he can change protections. FSU, if they try to overload, he'll get his guys in the right situation. Also, you have a veteran offensive line that can handle that. But based on what we saw last week, and again, I don't know if Florida State was being disrespectful, not paying attention to Virginia, or if they just flat out got bullied. The line of scrimmage is a fascinating thing to watch, because Miami is significantly bigger than Virginia, better in a sense of draft picks. And I mean, everywhere you look, there's a guy going to get drafted, on top of the size of the backs they have too, which Virginia's backs are fantastic, but these guys are, and it's a rivalry game. So they want to run through you like you saw Virginia do. So I am really fascinated just to see, what does that look like? Does Miami run for 300 yards? I mean, it's crazy to see what, they're going to kind of try to do. Do they even throw the ball? Test it until, like, I'm running the ball until I'm stopped. That's kind of the thing, if we get going in that sense there. And, I think Tony White, defensive coordinator for FSU, he's talked about it a lot this week, in his press conferences and media availability, that, he's saying we've got to get better. And maybe they weren't prepared. That's on us, but they will be this week. And so saying all those different things, how will Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, for Miami, want to attack the Seminole defense that quite frankly, it was very porous against Virginia?
It's a good word, Mac. I think that's a fair assessment of what they looked like against Virginia. But again, I think Virginia's pretty good. And we're going to talk about Virginia-Louisville on Friday, which is a massive game. The other factor here, Mac, and this is kind of the last thing for me, the location of this game. It's in Tallahassee. This is the first time they're going to be leaving South Florida. And they're not leaving Florida, we know, as everyone's talked about, until a little later in the season. But Miami's been playing at home. They've been in a very comfortable environment. They have great crowds for these games, very pro Miami crowds. Yes, they've beaten some good teams, but it's been at home. This is in Tallahassee. This is a night game. We talked about it on the Florida State episode. The place is going to be rocking. How does Miami handle it? I know Carson Beck's a vet. I know he's played in all these types of environments, but you look at some of these younger players like a Malachi Toney, I think he's going to be fine. But that's just a factor, right? That's different than the first 4 games for Miami.
It's a big deal. It's a big difference. I mean, you're walking into somewhere with 80,000 strong, booing you every play, loud every play. I mean, I can't wait for that. I mentioned it last episode. I cannot wait to see this environment. It is going to be insane. And so, yeah, what's your operation look like? How's your snap count change? How does the rhythm change? Can you not do as many motions and things because guys can't hear? Clearly they can see you do that, but just different things of that nature. So I am fascinated at how communication, what that will look like, because also, you look at the other side, it's going to be dead quiet for Ruben Bain and the boys, and they're going to hear everything. They're going to get a jump on the snap count. They're going to know, when Florida State's trying to snap the ball. And that's a little bit of an advantage they haven't had, because when you're at home, your fans are going nuts and you can't hear anything. You can't, you're based on sight only and reacting. So I am fascinated to see that too. And how does that help them? Does that elevate their game, especially going against such a dynamic quarterback, as Tommy Castellanos is, that's slippery, that's going to run, can't over pursue, can't over rush. You have to stay true to your gaps, things of that nature. Because if you don't, and if you miss, see you later, 20 plus yards down the field, and he'll do it no problem. Like, he sees that, he's out. He does a really good job there, but I think this is by far the best defense that these guys have seen. And they played Bama, and I understand what that means. But Ruben Bain is one of one. Like, that dude is leading the Heisman race, I think, right now, KG, with how he impacts the game. The leading tackler for the Hurricanes is Ruben Bain, a defensive end. That is nuts what he's doing.
That's wild. And as we've said, they've played some really good teams. What I really like the chatter I've been hearing from different people about Ruben Bain being the best player in college football.
He is. He is.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's so versatile, and he just literally takes over. I mean, he's got a couple of sacks, has a pick, has a bunch of PBUs, tackles for loss. I mean, it's insane to see what he's doing. And I think he knows it. Like, he knows that he's good. That's a difference maker. And it's not of a sense of arrogance and I can just get by. It's of a sense of responsibility, KG. And I don't know if I told you this story or not before you were fully back. When we were at Miami, practice had gone, they do their thing. It's like an hour or two after practice. I'm going to get a lift before our meetings. And I walk into the indoor facility and I hear it before I see it. And I'm like, what's going on? And I kind of round the corner. Ruben Bain is drenched in sweat by himself in the indoor, getting extra work in, doing moves, working on his get off, working on his chop, his spin. And I just kind of watched from afar for a second, like a weirdo. And then I walked up to him. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And obviously we know each other. He's been on our pod, things of that nature. And I was like, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just trying to get better. And I was like, wow.
And this was before Notre Dame?
No, this was before Florida. Florida.
Okay. Still.
So he's just killing it. He's playing really at a really high level. I'm fascinated to see how do they, attack them as well, because there's some matchup problems. And, you heard it from Tommy. I think my offensive line's good enough. It's going to be on the perimeter. It's going to be about skill. How can Deuce win? How can Danzy win? Squirrel win? All these guys. And, of course, his great running backs. This feels like the old school 2006 and before matchups of this is big boy football.
We've waited long enough for Miami and Florida State to be good at the same time. So thank you to both of these programs for actually giving us that, Mac. Let's give our picks on Friday's episode. Let's save a little bit for Friday's episode.
We're pulling them along. Yeah. You got to come back, Knowles and Canes. You got to come back one more time.
Absolutely. And who knows, the number I feel like it probably will stay at 4.5. But like you said, I don't know if the weather continues to look suspect or whatever. We'll see what happens there. But I can't wait, Mac. And I know you can't wait because you're going to be down there in Tallahassee.
It's going to be so fun. I'm going early. I'm leaving in like a day. I cannot wait to be there. We're living up. Never mind. Canes fans don't want to hear this. I'll tell you on Friday. Hey, appreciate you guys. Canes fans, if you're here, drop some comments. Tell us what's going to happen in the game. I think Canes are pretty confident. I think they're feeling
they
pretty
should
good.
Be.
They've been on my Twitter telling me about what they're going to do. Let's see. I'm excited to see it. And did you guys find tickets? Like, are y'all going to be there? I hear a lot of people coming too. Maybe they're just coming for the environment. I don't know. We'll see.
They're coming for the huddle.
In the comments. Yeah.
We're coming for the huddle, Mac.
Why not? I would too. We'll get you on TV. Come hang out. But appreciate you guys always. Go subscribe. Jump in the comments section. Tell us what you think. And until next time, we'll see y'all.